Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the daily Divine Direction broadcast for all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time. I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center, located at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, at the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. We invite you to come and worship with us if you're in our area. On Sundays at 10 a.m. we have reopened, and we have reopened with protocol, so we invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. We are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to discuss whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. We know that God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here. You may call every day on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And for those of you who are our listeners and viewers who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast, we thank you for your support and your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here to address whatever topics you might like to discuss and whatever issues of life you find challenging or difficult to navigate. So I'm going to begin by reminding all of our listeners and viewers we are in the process of expanding our platform once again. As you know, we are on our app, we're on our website, we are YouTube Live, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, we are on Apple TV, Roku. We are going to be launching what is also going to be commonly known as Zoomcasting the beginning of the year. We will have it in place, and with us for the first Thursday of the month will be Rebecca Buva, our monthly contributor. Rebecca Buva, who is a licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com. And she will be with us. And so what we're going to be doing then is simulcasting and Zoomcasting and Zoom streaming so that you will be able to see those that we are going to be interviewing as we go into the new year. And we're also going to be having our students from our Achievers Academy interview guests on the broadcast. So I want to encourage everyone to continue doing what you've been doing, which is tuning in 3D Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, but encourage everyone you know, or I should say continue to encourage, because we've had an significant increase in viewership throughout the time that we've been on the air. Encourage everyone you know. Continue to encourage everyone, all of your family, co-workers and colleagues to tune in so that we can encourage our students as we interview and continue to expand the broadcast to answer all of the questions that you might have and all of the issues of life that concern you right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you started your business in January of 2020. Everything was going well. And even through COVID, your business has been able to sustain itself. However, you are now concerned about the coming year. You're concerned about after the new year, what's going to happen in the new year. So let me start by addressing the components of your communication. First of all, to God be the glory. You launched your business in January of 2020, and I will say your communication was very kind. You said that I encouraged you to start the business in the coming year, last year, and I encouraged you to start at the beginning of the year, and you've been just amazed at what God has done because you've been able to sustain through COVID. So, to God be the glory. Your business is not going to suffer going into the new year when God has brought you this far through 2020. So let me begin by saying this. Your business didn't just sustain itself because you were fortunate. Your business was able to sustain itself because you were blessed by God, because you followed the direction from God. Everything is about timing, and it's all about God's time. And the reason that I told you last year not to launch until this year is because that's what God had spoken. Now, to God be the glory, you've had a year that you've been able to sustain your business, but not only have you sustained your business has been profitable even during a pandemic. So, I encourage people who were in business to expand online during the pandemic. I encourage people to not become shell-shocked because we were in a pandemic that none of us has ever seen before. Nothing new under the sun. There's been plagues before, but we haven't lived long enough to see this pandemic. The last one was 102 years ago, and anyone who's old enough to remember the pandemic, it's because they were told about it and not because they remember it. It's been over a century. Here's the reality. Because your business has sustained and you haven't looked at the fact that your business has been profitable, you've only been looking at it from a position of sustainability, that you've made it through the first year of your business. It's your perception that has to change so that your concerns will change. Your perception should not be that you just sustained yourself. Your perception should be you've been profitable, you've been able to pay your bills, you've been able to put some money aside, you've been able to take care of the things that needed to be taken care of. This is business. That's what business is. There are ebbs and flows in business. There are always going to be ebbs and flows. And I'm going to slow down to walk you through this because I want you to really change your state of mind. Your perception has to be changed. God didn't bring you this far to now leave you. We're wrapping up this year and the year has come to an end. A new year is upon us. It's coming. And you need to prepare yourself for what's to come in the new year. Now, as the new year comes and we enter into the new year, what I'm going to encourage you to do is to take the next approach, and that is that this next year you're going to also be profitable. But I'm going to encourage you to save and invest. There'll be a time for investing, but save as much capital as you possibly can this year. For no other reason except eventually you'll be able to invest that capital. You'll be able to grow your business and invest that capital. But most importantly, so that you can really embrace a new state of mind. That you'll be able to look back at the end of next year and you'll be able to say, this is, I had this much in reserve at the end of 2020, and now at the end of 2021, you'll have even more. Because we're going to come out of this pandemic. And here's what I need to say to all of our listeners and viewers. Whatever you're doing right now, you have been able to thrive even in a pandemic. You have to know this is coming to an end. And when it comes to an end, you're going to be able to thrive even more. And what I'm going to encourage us to do is to change our method of doing things when this pandemic comes to an end. You know, we have to be more intentional about everything we do. We have to really recognize that just as there's a new year, there's a new way of doing things. You know, there's going to be a new norm. You know, everyone talks about the new norm. I'm going to address that and use that analogy. There is going to be a new norm. We are going to return to some semblance of normalcy, but things are going to change. And the reason that things are going to change is because we had a disruption. The pandemic was a disruption. And disruption does require change. And disruption will also reveal the benefits of change. You know, some things we have to be encouraged to do, some things we have to be inspired to do, and some things we have to be required to do. God has required us all to make some changes. We've been encouraging people and inspiring people, but now God said, listen, I've got to require you to do some things differently because I'm taking you to another level. And that's the one thing that I want to encourage everyone is to allow your takeaway to be that God is going to take you to the next level. Whatever He wants for our lives, it's going to take us to the next level. This is requiring us all to go to the next level. And the next level may just be to recalibrate our thought process about becoming the best version of ourselves that we can become. However, I want you to think bigger than that because the Lord wants us to think bigger than that. He wants us to recognize that it's not just going to be good enough to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become, but that we have to go to the next level in Him, to experiencing the fullness of God. And so I want to encourage you to change your perspective. Don't be concerned about the coming year. You've lived through a pandemic. You have thrived through a pandemic. And because you've thrived through a pandemic, you've got to know that you have the strength and the power. You have the power and the strength to excel in the coming year. You know, excel and excellence are synonymous. So we have to excel with excellence. So we have to make certain that we have the right spirit. We have to be certain that we renew our spirit. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do as I say to you, God wants you to change your perspective. And I'm encouraging you to prepare yourself for the next level. Your business is going to thrive, but your business is also going to blow up. You just have to stay the course and continue moving. God is going to bless you exceeding abundantly above all that you can ask or think, according to the power of God that works in you, according to His power that works in you and His Spirit that works through you. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you over into our queue so that you can experience T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill. And if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. Now, I'm going to ask all of our listeners and viewers to partner with us in this coming year. If you're not a T-Mobile customer, we want to max out our partnership with T-Mobile with our annual agreement with T-Mobile in the coming year. So I'm encouraging everyone, I'm asking you all to partner with us. If you are not a T-Mobile customer, in the coming year, we're going to move you over into our queue so that you can experience T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge, and assist us in maxing out our partnership with T-Mobile, our annual partnership with T-Mobile America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your sister has been more successful than yourself and your siblings. You love your sister, however, you have come to realize that you have some jealousy about the success of your sister. And you've never said this to her. I was prayerful about this because, as I am about all of the communications that come in, but I was prayerful about this because it's real important that you understand that until you eliminate the jealousy from your heart, until you purge the jealousy from your heart, and you make the conscious decision to celebrate the success of your sister. Now, you haven't been cruel to her. You haven't been doing a lot of things that people who are jealous of others will do, ignore them, disregard them, you haven't done any of those things. You've just harbored in your heart the jealousy because of her success. And until you purge your heart of that jealousy, God's going to hold back the good things that he has in store for you. You have to celebrate your sister. You have to celebrate her successes. Every success that she has, you have to celebrate. Because that celebration is the demonstration of your inspiration, of your spirit being filled with joy. Because you know that God is not the respecter of persons, and because you know that if God is doing great things in the life of your sister, God will do great things in your life also. But as I'm addressing this, I want to say to you, we all want the blessings of God. One of the reasons that your sister has been so much more successful than yourself and your siblings, and not to compare one another, because first of all, God is not the respecter of persons. God is also giving to every man, woman, and child according to their measure of faith. You have to recognize that your sister has a different relationship with the Lord than you have currently. If we really want to experience the fullness of God, we have to, if you're unsaved, develop a relationship with the Lord. And if you're saved and you're a good card-carrying Christian, however, your relationship is lacking with the Lord, you have to work out your salvation. You have to enhance your relationship with the Lord. You have to spend more time in meditation and prayer. You have to spend more time studying his word. You have to spend more time seeking the will of God and the way of God for your life. That's when God will move in a way that your successes will occur. Now, there are some other components to this, but that's your issue. Your issue is working out your salvation, working on your relationship with the Lord. Your sister, listen, you're in a different part of the country, but your sister, who lives not far from you, in the same city, so not geographically far apart. Your sister, before the pandemic, was in church every Sunday. She goes to church every single Sunday. I don't know your sister, but God showed me in that secret place of her life and your life and the life of your siblings. Your sister's in church every Sunday. She is not just in church, but she's engaged in the Word of God. She's seeking to be fed the Word of God and then studies the scriptures that are expounded upon every Sunday. Since the pandemic has just been a disruption for many churches, she's been watching service online. She's been watching the teaching online. And she has been doing everything, none of us are perfect, but she's been doing everything that God had appointed for her to do. Now, you ended up on this broadcast because your sister, whom I've never met before, someone referred her to the broadcast Now she has referred you to the broadcast. Now you're communicating. So you are someone who goes to church, but you're not really engaged. You go, but you don't go every Sunday. You go every month, but you've got to work on that relationship with the Lord. Your sister's encouraging you to do that, but you've got to work on that relationship with the Lord. You've got to develop that relationship with the Lord and nurture the relationship that you have with the Lord so that God will pour out his blessings upon you. Now, your other siblings aren't attending church at all. You all got saved when you were young. Younger, I should say. You all got saved when you were young. But the world takes us away from the Word and away from our walk with God. And we begin to walk as society teaches us to walk. The reality is that your sister is encouraging you constantly to have a relationship with the Lord. And praise God, she got you to tune in to the broadcast here. The truth of the matter is that if you want the same success that she is experiencing, if you want the success that she's experiencing, but not exactly the same because you all are in different careers, you all have different desires, but you want the same type of success she's having, then you have to seek the same thing she's seeking, which is God's face, the thoughts of God, the wisdom of God, the way of God, the will of God. Those are all going to be important facets to you getting to that place in your life where you can experience the fullness of God. However, you've got to purge your heart of the jealousy and celebrate everything that's going on in her life. We all have people in our lives, listen, we all have people in our lives who they see what you're doing and they know your reason for doing it, but because it didn't happen to them, they find themselves in a place where they become envious or they become jealous. Every one of us has had someone in our life that way, who has lived that way. Don't let that be your testimony, because that will block your blessings. That will truly block your blessings. The reason that it hasn't happened to them is because they couldn't celebrate what happened in your life while it was happening to you or for you. You're that person for your sister. You've been blocking your blessing. And I was speaking to all of our listeners and viewers a moment ago by saying that. You're blocking your blessing because you're not celebrating your sister. So I'm going to encourage you to purge your heart. Ask God to just give you a new heart. Not just a heart of love, but a heart of celebration and joy. The joy for what is happening in the life of your sister, so that you too can experience success, that you can experience the fullness of God in your everyday life, and that your household will be blessed. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you are not in any of those areas, if you're in any of those areas, you can check their store hours, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man can need. They have shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And if you order from Charles Tyrwhitt right now, if you order shirts from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com, you will receive 4 high-quality cotton shirts for $199. They also have high quality cashmere sweaters on sale right now, 2 for $179.50. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, check for their store hours. Stop in at the retail store. They have everything that you could possibly need. They have home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. If you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have more money now than you have ever had in your life. Let me pause right there before I complete your communication and just say, to God be the glory. However, you are concerned, you are not certain what to do next. Now that you have more money than you have ever had before, and you're not certain what to do next. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Do nothing. When you're not certain of what to do next, wait on the Lord. Wait on God to guide you and give you instruction. Stay on course right now. This is what you need to do, because, and I said that for the benefit of all of our listeners and viewers also. But for you, stay on course. You're on the right path. Right now. Stay on that course until God reveals His will for what you might do next. It's a blessing, listen, to arrive at the point that you have more money now than you've ever had in your life. Many of us came from humble beginnings. No silver spoon, no silver cup, humble beginnings. We went out into the world, got educated, began our careers. We've tried to move our careers forward, experience success. Now we're working every day to experience the fullness of God in our lives and maximize the fullness of God in all of our lives. When you're on course, you have to stay on course. And when you're blessed to have more than you've ever had before, what you know is what you have right now does not require your faith. What God has in store for you as you continue to move forward is where your faith has to reach for the stars, for lack of a better term. Because God's not done with you yet just because He's given you more than you've ever had before. This is just the next step, the next level. This is the place where God says, I have blessed you to be today. I need you to remain on course so that you can go forward as I continue to reveal to you what I have in store for you. Be still and know that He is God. Wait on the Lord. Do absolutely nothing right now. Stay on course until God reveals to you His further will for your life. And to God be the glory. I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we are reopened at New Life Christian Center with protocol. We have reopened our sanctuary. If you're in our area, come and worship with us at New Life Christian Center at 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, at the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. There's parking on Hillcrest. We are the brown brick building right on the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. Service begins at 10 a.m. We invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. If you are not in our area, tune in for our Sunday sermon at 10:40 when it goes live at 10:45 a.m. The Sunday sermon goes live at 10:45 because we have praise and worship, and we have